here's another reason why you want to take control of what you're doing.
Everything kind of funnels into the only winning move is not to play the game.
So I got to ask permission to buy the gun, and then I got to pay to ask permission to carry the motherfucker outside of my house. How about you go fuck yourself?
I have no idea where our guests are. I have no idea where Harkos is, but we're going to go on with our show because that's what we do every Sunday night at 7:00 on YouTube and on Rumble. And I want to welcome everybody here to the Weather Report. Welcome to Ken over there and producer Jason as we speak. How you guys doing today?
Since it's a slow news day, I decided to I felt very patriotic today for some reason. And in fact, tonight's beverage of choice is brought to you by Total Wine and the Federalist, Zinfandel.
Well,
so what do you got going here tonight, Bruce?
I decided to put on. I'm willing to be, what do they call it? Unreasonable. This is from down there with Jason and his horrible designs, and it's filled with Colockum coffee. It's the Woodsman. I iced it. And it is fantastic. The only problem is that these are so good that it froze inside the cup. So now I'm going to have to try to bang it and all kinds of other stuff to get it going down my throat and everything. So that's what I'm going to do. So either it's going to melt.
He's going to bang it so it goes down his throat.
Yeah, one of these days it's going to happen. But there's Dana right there. Bill and Dana are coming on, and they're wondering what to do and how to do it. But
we'll get them set up here in a second.
We'll let them go. We'll let them get all set up there and ready to go. So we're back. Like I said, this is the Weather Report. We do this every Sunday night, 7 to 8 o'clock, something like that, on YouTube and on Rumble. We thank you for being here. I am monitoring the Rumble feed, and I am monitoring I thought I was monitoring all the feeds that I can, but I'm monitoring the chat today. So anybody who wants to chat, go ahead and come into the chat room, and we will take questions and stuff like that. But we're going to go round table since Harkos isn't here and find out what everybody's been going on and doing on the weekend. Ken, you're first. What's going on? What's going on with your weekend?
Big weekend, of course. Looking at in my world of trying to drive old cars again and save the environment by driving cars that are old. I bought a 1994 Mercury Grand Marquis today that I'll be driving hopefully for the next 3 or 4 years. So that was a big deal. But yesterday I was at a motorcycle show at Dennis Kirk with my bike in the show. I rode through a monsoon. So Bruce, you saw my bike when you were here, right? So I got floorboards on it, right? Just regular floorboards you put your feet on. I was going through, crossing over the bridge between Wisconsin and Minnesota, Highway 94, Interstate 94. There's a big bridge, and that's right when the hail started. So I'm on a bridge. I got semis all around me. I can't see 6 feet in front of my face. I'm driving at 70 miles an hour, and then it starts hailing. It was it was an exciting time. Motorcycles, man, sometime in the weather out here, you just don't know. I watched the weather like right before I left, and the storm just it said, instead of going here, we're going to go down there where Ken is. So they got me. So I spent the whole day. It was super muggy, about 90 degrees, soaking wet, which was actually a blessing because I was evaporating all day. So I was actually able to stay cool. But we had a good time. And then today I bought a car and worked on some stuff and watch the news about the current events that we may or may not get into tonight, but pretty interesting time, hence the American. It's my moment of, you know what, this is the greatest country in the world. I will unapologetically say that to anyone, and I'm glad to live here, and we're at a time now that it's an opportunity for everyone to come together. So that's my spiel for what I did this weekend. How about you?
Jason, what's up? How was your weekend?
I've been
You're looking better.
Yeah, I'm not as red. It's kind of
you're not as red.
So I learned my lesson, which means I'm going to do it again. And I've been out of town most of the weekend and working on custom designs. One person contacted me off of Facebook, a good friend of Ken's. Somebody contacted me off my site for a custom design, and somebody off of Etsy contacted me for a custom design. So I've been working on that as well this weekend. So I was kind of busy and working on some new Trump designs. Just been really busy.
Cool. What I did this weekend was I actually did some content in the backyard. So I was busy in the backyard doing some composting. So I finally did some content for YouTube that'll be being posted either later on tonight or tomorrow on actually harvesting compost out of my compost bin. And then I did some biochar. So I finally got my biochar kiln fixed up and ready to go, and now I'm making biochar. So I'm fastly going into selling biochar and selling vermicompost and mixing the two and making super soil and all that kind of stuff that I've been wanting to do for a long time. So it's been really a real productive weekend for me. Went out and bought a bunch of parts for my RAV4 because I'm going to be towing my camper here pretty soon. So I needed some new brakes. But yeah, that's what's going on with my weekend. But more importantly, what's going on with the show this week, because on the show this week, we have a special show with Bill Reichland and Dana Grant. They are both from Colockum Craft Coffee. Depending on where you are in the United States, you can say it whichever where, but we're going to let Bill or Dana correct me in what we're saying. We're going to bring them on the screen now. Here's Bill and Dana. Hey, guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, my God. Can you hear us?
We can hear you just fine.
Oh, okay. Good.
We saw you there with the wide eyes and going like, oh my God, are we doing this right? How are we doing this? Oh my shit. Oh God. Well, welcome to the Weather Report.
Well,
thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. And this is what I get for going, oh, I can eat dinner first and then I'll figure out this audio bullshit. Nope.
It's not as hard as our X thing that we do in the morning. So X is a little bit more difficult. You got to deal with the internet and the Bluetooth and all that other crap, and this is pretty much plug and go. So it's pretty simple. You know, just as long as you check everything before you get on, we're good to go. But we want to welcome you to the show. We do not have no Harkos today for some reason. He must be doing something more important than the show. So he usually pegs in here about 30 minutes in, and he'll go, "Oh, I remember we had a show today." So
he's a hip hop guy. They're fashionably late.
Yeah.
So you are a craft coffee company. And I've been wanting to have you on for a long time because, we've been doing everything. We all met at the Nomad Network through Jason Stapleton. And I try to have everybody that I know from the network on. And I've been wanting to get you on forever because you've been on my X show before. And we've talked a bunch, on and offline. So I started buying coffee from you after, what was it? John Odermatt's coffee went under. and we had got your coffee before, and then we decided since you went worldwide and were able to ship your coffee, of course, and then you started the subscription, I went like, nice, cool. I love it. That way I can have coffee and I don't have to go get it at the store anymore. But I do your coffee on the weekends. But you have some excellent coffees. And like I said, you guys are coffee roasters. Your quote is that you have a coffee that was a habit, and all of a sudden, you made your habit into a business. And we want to find out how that went. How'd that go? Where did your coffee habit come from?
Well, I don't know. I've been drinking coffee since I was in high school.
Yeah, pretty much. That's where the habit started.
And then I went in the Marines, and you pretty much have to have coffee just to stay awake, because for some reason you drink a lot of beer after hours. I don't know. It's a weird thing. But we were on a trip to Montana, and we were trying to come up with something. It was 2020. And she wasn't working. She worked for the school district at the time, and we were just trying to come up with something to do that make a little extra money. Nomad Network. I cannot get in the mindset of the online stuff. I have to have a product. I have to physically be able to lay hands on something. So we were kind of fooling around with roasting our own coffee because there wasn't much to do. And we thought, well, why not just make this a little bit larger and just do farmers markets and see how that goes. That's kind of how it started. A long road trip to Montana.
What does Montana have to do with the coffee? Is that where you found your coffee, or is Washington where you get your coffee? Where did you sample all these coffees that you got? Because you have a myriad of coffees. I mean, you probably have 12 coffees, something like that you're offering. I'm not sure what the count is, but I sampled all of them, I think, when we were going through our coffees and trying to pick a subscription that we wanted to do. We did get the Smoke Jumper and the Woodsman, and the Woodsman came from Jason. He says, "Man, this is my favorite. You got to try it." So he was the one that actually kind of influenced me to get that one. And then the Smoke Jumper, I love those dark coffees, man. And I shared it with my family tonight, and they were just going like, "Oh my God, this is so good." And so it was really exciting to know. So tell us a little bit about your coffee exploration and how you find these beans. Where did you go to find these beans?
Well, it started with a company called Coffee Crafters, and they actually had a couple of blends, and we tried them, and we actually contacted them and said, "So what is in this?" And they told us the two varieties. I said, "This tastes like, I think you got a little Guatemala in here and something." And they go, "That's correct. It's Guatemala and Brazil." So we sourced through them Guatemala and Brazil beans and came up with a blend of our own. And that's how you get Woodsman. The fact, Bruce, that you like Woodsman and Smoke Jumper is like the two extreme ends of our coffee offerings. That's absolutely insane.
Woodsman is one of the lightest, and Smoke Jumper is definitely the darkest.
Yeah, it's the darkest roast. We roast that one until I'm scared, and then I just pull it and hope it doesn't burst into flames before I can get it in the cooling bin. So,
whoops, let me see. Boom. My focus went out, but that's what happens, in this technical environment that we're in. But I always thought that the darkest coffees were the most caffeinated, and I was corrected by a friend of mine on Facebook that said, no. He says the lightest coffees are the ones that have the most caffeine in them, because I really like a dark coffee. I really like an espresso roast. I like that robustness. I like that. I want to say that, I don't know, it's just I like that in your face taste. That's pretty much what I like. But the Woodsman itself is just a nice coffee to kick back on and have a nice cup of morning Joe out in the backyard or something like that. But really, when I want to jump, when I want to jolt, I'll use that Smoke Jumper. But like I said, I was corrected. Is there any truth to that about the darker the bean, the less the caffeine? Tell us about something like that. The caffeine.
Yes, technically, I guess, but it's infinitesimal. You really. The lighter roasts do have more caffeine in them, but not so much that you'd notice. There's a different kind of bean that we don't use called a Robusta that has about 50% more caffeine in it. And I have used some of that in an espresso roast just to up the caffeine and give you a little jolt. And that sucker will give you the shakes. But we don't have that many of our offerings right now.
Yeah, well, I often have a heart rate over 100 when I'm drinking coffee all day on Saturday and Sunday. I got good blood pressure, but the heart rate goes way up. So I mean, it works. And how's your competition over there? You're in a small community in between Seattle and Yakima, Washington, and you're just on the other side of the Cascade Mountains. And so I'm assuming that you guys started in a farmer's market, and there's got to be some competition out there. I've been to our farmers markets here out in California, and there's a vast array of a lot of people that are doing coffees and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's got to be competition out there. So what does it look like out there? Are you up against people? Do you guys kind of co-op together? How does that work?
And so no co-ops or anything. So there's there's two established roasters in our county, and one is in Colockum, and then there is one in Ellensburg, and they've been around for years, and so
Decades.
yeah,
Decades.
and so those are probably our stiffest, competition. But they're on a level that we're not even there yet. So it's not even a competition.
No.
Really, no. So we just promote that we're local. We do small batch. It's fresh, and you can really taste the difference between buying our coffee and a competitor's coffee. So.
Oh, cool,
Yeah.
cool. So the Colockum name. So the Colockum name. Where did the Colockum name come from? Why don't you tell our listeners how that all came about?
Okay. Well, I lucked into that once upon a time about 2013, where I just picked the name because the Colockum Pass is a route that used to be taken from the Kittitas Valley over to Wenatchee. It's not taken now unless you have a highly modified off-road vehicle. Even though sometimes GPS will try to send semis that way, which is always amusing. Can't do it. But that is where I knew this area from. I've lived here 15 years, moved here to go back to college. I've known this area forever as a kid. It's where you come to go hunt elk. It's got a great elk herd. It's got great hunting. It's got great outdoor stuff. And Colockum Pass seemed easier to spell and say than Monastash, which is another ridge just on the other side of the valley, or Tianaway, or any of the other weird names that are around here. So we picked the easiest one. But that's what I named my brewery. And I opened a brewery in 2013 under the name of Colockum Craft Brewing while I was finishing the last 2 years of my undergrad and then started my master's degree. It wasn't a brilliant time to start a business, to say the least. But so we just recycled the name. I closed the brewery in 2015, or it was closed on me because I couldn't pay my bills anymore. And we just recycled the name, and that's why if you look at any of our merch, it says established 2013 or 2012. I can't
2012.
2012. So it's just a joke. Everyone goes, "Oh, you've been brewing coffee?" I was like, "Well, I've been brewing something since 2012, but not necessarily coffee."
So I've got a question.
Yeah, I'm going to open it up to the co-host here to kind of keep on the interview here.
I've got a question for you. So, one of the things that we all had done in the Nomad Network and things, we were all trying to talk about our side hustles, especially during COVID and things like that. And we watched you, take this on and have it grow. What was what were you doing before that, and are you still doing that? Is Colockum Coffee has it taken over full time, or you still have a regular day job, or just let's get into a little bit of that. You're trying to take on you take control of everything, right, with your own life, and with this coffee. But what are you doing otherwise, or where did you come from work wise, both of you?
So I have been a special ed parapro for close to 15 years. And then, so like what Bill says is during COVID, we came up with this side gig of roasting coffee, took a passion into and made it into a job or a dream to own our own business. And I continued being a para full-time during the school district. Bill continued to work his job, full-time. And it was just this last year, this last school year, I didn't go back to work. So I have been doing Colockum Craft pretty much full-time. So, but Bill still has his day job.
Day job.
Day job, yeah.
Well, that's a great start, though. I mean, that's a great. In 4 years, you were able to take at least in 4 years, one of you could step aside from the work and then just go. You've grown enough that at least one of you to begin with now can take that on.
Yep.
we still haven't actually pulled a paycheck, but it's rapidly approaching where we can. My job was, the reason we were in Montana is I was out scoping out a site to set up a lab for a recreational cannabis facility. That's what I did here in Washington, and a buddy and I were going to try to branch out and do something on our own over in Montana.
Oh yeah.
As it turns out, that industry is doing a spiral nosedive into the side of a cliff that would make, I don't even want to say it, but it's bad. So I don't even work in that industry anymore. As recently, I'm doing something else. I'm back in agriculture, straight working wheat harvest right now. So yeah, that's where we were at, and my job was fairly lucrative at the time, so it was able to finance a lot of this stuff, and we were able to kick a little savings in. We owe nobody anything for any of what we've got going on.
And it fully
it's fully sustaining. It was fully sustaining in a year and a half.
Wow.
So
wow,
we've
that's
just
impressive.
we've just made some decisions to upgrade some stuff and taken on, it's not really debt, but we have more bills now. And so that's why we haven't, if we were still working out of our house, we'd totally be getting paid. But we have a lease now for a commercial space, and we're just trying to get that up and going. And every year we've increased by 100% after the first year, but 50% last year?
It was 100% last year.
100% last year.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for 50% this year, but we'll see.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great news.
That's pretty awesome. So my mother-in-law had a question, and she wanted me to ask you, because you do distribute nationwide, worldwide, if anybody wants to, and you ship up to the communist state of Canada up there if they want to, right? That's what I hear. But we were having a conversation about K-cups, and she was wondering what the price was. So I went on your website and found out what the price was, and she was really interested. She goes like, "Oh, they must be a big outfit. You know, they're offering K-cups." So she was actually wondering how do you get into that K-cup business? To just because your custom bagging and stuff that you have going on is really interesting. I mean, you know, it comes in a nice bag with a little humidifier, vent in it and everything.
Gas valve.
Yeah, gas. Is that what you call it, a gas valve? I'm so much of a rookie, but we just want to know how the K-cups came along.
Oh, so the guy that built our coffee maker or coffee roaster, his name's Ken Langstrom. Is that right?
Latham.
Ken Latham. He's out of Sandpoint, Idaho, and he was somewhere in the Philippines or something when he wanted to roast some coffee. So he came up with this way to make these roasters that was pretty economical. And when he got back to the States, he thought he'd start selling them. So that's what we have. So he puts out YouTube videos every now and then, and he came across these things called iFill cups, which are the things that we use. And for our single-use cups, we're not supposed to say K-cups because we're not part of Keurig.
I said the wrong thing. We're gonna get kicked off. We're canceled now.
So we're just starting to get in the habit of ourselves.
These dumb things, they have the lid is attached. It has a gum seal on it, and all we do is weigh the coffee into the cup, seal it, put a little heat to it, which is basically a twist, set it down, and then we individually sticker them. Now, the price that we're selling these things for, I think we're losing our ass. But
very reasonable.
We're definitely not making a whole lot of money on it.
Sounds labor intensive.
Extremely reasonable.
We hand fill every single one of those things. We hand label every single one of those things.
Wow.
And we hand label the box. we just got into it because he posted this video. Goes, well, you can get, and we can get a little bit more coffee. I think we can get about 14 grams of coffee in one of those things, and most of the ones you get only have 10 to 12. So you get a little bit stronger shot of coffee in there out of your single-use machine. That we are compatible with Keurigs, by the way. So
there you go.
It works there.
That dirty word, Keurig. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But we roast, we grind, we wait about an hour.
2 hours, about 2 hours.
About 2 hours before we fill them, because the coffee will off-gas CO2, but the gum seal will let some of that go through. We have to wait 2 hours because otherwise it'll off-gas too much, so it'll blow the top right back off.
Wow.
But we use those things a lot here in our own house. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, that's how we got into that.
Yeah. So you'll be getting an order from me for some K-cups here pretty soon.
Yeah, me too. At work, we've got our company. We've got about 12 people in our office, and about half of them, probably 3/4 drink coffee. So this was something I was putting together, especially for the fall when people drink a lot of coffee. And so well, you know what? I'm gonna call them JL cups, and that's what you can call them, because it's everything around K that isn't K. So the JL cups that you make are we're going to start ordering those, and probably get on a subscription for that, because right now, the having crappy coffee at work just sucks. So to be able to have something that you can just put in the machine, hit the button, and have it be good, wow, I like that idea.
Oh, definitely. And we also offer a decaf and a half cap too, which is blasphemy to some people, but a lot of people can't.
What?
Yeah,
That's
like NA beer.
What is that?
That's flavored water.
It's like 3-2 beer or what? What can you tell us?
It's flavored water. Is all it is. It's flavored water.
It's actually really good.
Tell us about your half cap, and how did you come up with a half cap? You only use half the water. I mean, basically, you take caffeine out by the water, right? Is that how it is? I'm not sure. I'm dumb to coffee, so tell us how you do a half cap.
Bill's probably better at this, but I'll explain what I
explain the half cap. That's easy.
The half cap is super easy. So the half cap was starting to be requested a lot by clients and our customers, and I
already did it at home.
Yeah, we had already done it at home. So all we did was you take 50% decoy decaf, and we took 50% Reeser Creek, which is a Guatemala, and we mixed them. And the flavor, the flavor of those two together was actually, it's really good.
The decaf is a Mexican mountain water process that we selected after trying about 3 other ones and roasted it to a medium dark level, and it kind of kicks off this. If you throw a little sweet and a little creamer in it, it has this caramely kind of note to it. The Guatemala, what we call Reeser Creek, at 440, also roasted to our medium dark level, is pure on chocolate. So we mix chocolate and caramel.
Oh yeah. God,
and
I love that.
You get half the caffeine, and it's really good with a little creamer in the afternoon, early afternoon, I'm going to say, before I switch to decaf for dinner. Yeah. Jason's probably like,
well, I remember back when I was drinking the other coffee, and wasn't that, they were teasing me about my coffee habit, because I'm a cream and sugar guy. I mean, that's how I drink my coffee. I mean, I've drank it forever, but they kept asking me to, go ahead and try it without, creamer or something, or put a little butter in it or something like that. And my guys at camp that I go with every year in September, they're all about butter in their coffee and stuff like that. I just can't do it. I'm a cream and sugar guy. That's the way that I do it. And I enjoy, pretty much every one of your coffees. I didn't find one that I didn't like. Go ahead.
Do you know what butter is? Butter is this cream that's been whipped a lot.
It's fat.
It's
fat. I know. It's fat. Yeah. I know what butter is.
So, bulletproof coffee. There's nothing wrong with bulletproof coffee. There's nothing wrong with sugar in your coffee. There's nothing wrong with cream in your coffee, sweetened cream. I don't care what you do to your coffee. Just buy my coffee.
Bourbon.
Yeah, a lot of my coffee that I drink has Irish cream in it, and that's the only kind of cream I like in my coffee. A little Irish cream.
I like to take the Michael Jordan approach to that. I prefer my coffee black. She likes her coffee with sweetened and creamer. But I think Michael Jordan said it best. It was like, why don't you take a political stance on anything? It's, well, Republicans buy shoes too.
Yeah.
Right. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't either. I like I said, I like my coffee with either some Irish cream in it or some sugar and cream. I use stevia, so that's what I do. I'm pretty bougie out here in California, so you're on the west coast with me. You know what I'm talking about, man.
We're just
those
guys
are from the Midwest over there, man. They don't know.
We put dirt in our coffee like men.
Yeah, exactly.
Black dirt and black coffee, right, Jason? That's right.
Exactly. That's right. And you know what? For us in the Midwest, we're all like, how in the hell do we get that extreme caffeine stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
you got to come to the West Coast, dude. You got to come to the West Coast, man. That's where it's at. We could do that stuff out here. Anyhow, so another question I had that we kind of got into during our X conversation was because you were on our show, I think was on Thursday, and we started talking about how long it took you to be able to get out of the what they call the cottage industry that you had to do in Washington and be able to reach out to the United States and to the world to sell your coffees. Tell us a little bit about the trials and tribulations of getting through that. As they look at each other,
the trials and tribulations.
We're hitting you with the hard questions here.
like I alluded to on Thursday, or said on Thursday, we went the cottage route because it was the easiest way for us to illegally sell our coffee at a farmer's market. To do that, we had to have a business license. And to have the business license, we had to be vetted through the state. And if we went the commercial route, then we needed to practically have a commercial kitchen. And we didn't have the space, and they won't let you do it in your garage because then it gets into, well, you can't have access to the house from the garage. It has to be a separate building. It has to have its own septic or sewer and water supply and all that.
It was crazy.
The cottage one, and since it was during COVID, no one was coming out to check us. We had everything set up. We didn't exactly have a triple sink, but you could just have your regular kitchen sink with another thing to do sanitizing in, right? Yeah. It was like another bucket or something.
No, and actually the bathroom could be used for cottage law. The bathroom could be
for
used
a hand washing. But I was talking
a
triple sink. We needed the wash, rinse, sanitize. Anyway, so we go through all that, and we took a bunch of pictures, and we submitted the pictures, and they said, looks good, because it's COVID, and we're not going to
we ain't coming.
catch a cold. So then we were licensed for that. And then it just got to a point where we couldn't do it in our kitchen anymore.
From growth?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was it like almost immediately we were.
Well, and technically for Washington, the cottage law and for roasting coffee, it's got to be a counter mounted roasting apparatus.
Yeah, no industrial equipment.
And so we're roasting like crazy because our roaster was like a pound. And it just became idiotic.
And we were selling 14 pounds a weekend. So
yeah. And then so in order to upgrade to a larger roaster, we have to be in a commercial space in order to do that.
Gotcha. So I the question I have, being in I'm not an anti-government guy, but I hate regulation, except for where it makes sense. Like in some building codes makes sense. But so if you guys have, how much of these regulations and these things that the government is doing are obviously they're detrimental, but in your opinion, to be able to take this to the next level without having that government interference, would you be able to convert a garage? And like you could say, you can't have access to the roasting facility from your house if it's in a garage or in a separate building. Those are the kind of things that keep small business down. So I just wanted to have you speak to a little bit about that, of just, the trials and tribulations of starting a small business. These are some of the things that are roadblocks that you have managed to get through. And that's the good part of it. So how did you do that?
Well, we got through it, but we're spending, I don't know, a very expensive amount or a lot amount of money for a commercial space and commercial utilities, and everything's different when there's commercial, behind it. And then so if we would have, in the long run, would have been cheaper if we could have built a shop on the property, but maybe, why do you need another septic system? Why do you need,
exactly.
why do you need all these, additional things? So if I have the same type of equipment in a shop on my personal property that I would have in a commercial location a couple miles down the road, but it's legal, it's commercial, why can't it be the same? So that's where I get frustrated. But
that makes sense to me. The thing about that, with especially the septic system, when it's you guys in your own house doing it, that makes no sense to have to put another septic system. The idea that, okay, we're going to start a company and do it, I'm going to have 13 different employees, then you need it. Then you'd need a septic system because you'd overwhelm your house one. But the fact that they make you have to do that from the beginning, and you mentioned before the cannabis thing. So when Minnesota legalized cannabis for medical reasons, I at that time owned a house on 3 acres on the most rich black dirt you could ever imagine in the Midwest, in an area that during the 40s they grew hemp for the war effort. And so it's wildly growing everywhere. the whole forest is just full of these huge hemp trees, right? So I knew that regular pot would basically grow there. So I looked into getting, I'd say, I'm going to cordon off this acre. I had a pond. I had 2 ponds I could feed it with. It was a completely self-sustaining thing. But the permit was $30,000.
Oh, yeah.
On 1 acre.
Oh, yeah.
$30,000 because they just wanted the corporate entities to do it that support their campaigns. They didn't want actually marijuana to be grown anywhere unless they could, get something out of it. So it's kind of that same thing when I see what you guys doing. They're like, no, yeah, you guys could perfectly safely, completely, perfectly create this coffee, in your garage, but you just can't do it because we say you can't do it. Is basically why you had to go to the commercial thing, right?
Yes. It's a dry process. We're not playing with any liquids. There's very little chance of me contaminating anything that I'm heating up to almost 460 degrees and then throwing in a bag and sending it off. We don't have to hose down our place. We're not a meat packing plant. We don't need to be able to clean stuff up. We don't have dairy anywhere. We don't even have like a cafe front. We just roast coffee and then send it out.
Now, if we had a cafe front, it's a whole different ballgame.
But we're not too far off from being able to do that because we have the triple sink to clean everything. We have the extra hand washing sink. We have a bathroom that door automatically closes. Apparently, that's a real thing.
Why is that? Why do you have to have a door that automatically shuts your plane?
It was a battle, but I made the door automatically close.
You make the door automatically close. I know that one. There's another one too. Like for us, we had to have bathrooms that the lights automatically came on and shut off by themselves.
Oh my goodness!
And I'm like, you really can't do this?
I
get you. I'm believing. Get me going on the dumb one.
There's 2 people that work in this place, and according to the fire marshal, I need signs that say exit and not an exit. I got to put a sign up over the bathroom that says not an exit and a sign over the one that goes outside that says exit.
Do you have to have
couldn't tell through the clear glass door?
Yep. Do you have to have a men's and women's room?
Oh no, we have a
Don't give me ideas.
It's gender friendly.
Yeah, it's we're gender inspecific on our bathroom.
We don't care. Just wash your hands when you're done, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
just
just
yeah. You know.
So I've got your website up right here, and I'm just going to share it real quick because I'm interested in how you sell your wares out at the farmers market. I mean, I know the first time it was really big that when you went out and you went and set up your tent and everything. That was cool, dude. I thought that was great. I remember the first time that you guys posted on Facebook, hey, we're up, we're running and stuff like that. How do you do this in a tent level? I mean, tell me what it is. People come by and go like, okay, well, what's this coffee? What's that coffee? What do you got to say? I mean, I could go through each one of these coffees and listen all night about what you guys have to say about these coffees. But really, how much time is spent actually explaining what the coffee is? How much time is spent giving samples? How do you go about doing that?
Probably one thing about our labeling is that we haven't put
we don't have descriptions.
We don't have descriptions on there. It's just the names. We
like to talk.
Well, we want that one-on-one connection with the, with the customers that come up and ask. We want them to ask questions, and we want to be able to answer them and give our little personal, spin on them. Eventually, they'll have descriptions on it. Right now they don't. And so we spend a lot of time interacting and talking to our customers and samples. I mean, we bring a brewer and crafts, and Bill brews up one of
every one of them,
every one of our varieties. And so we not only sell 12-ounce cups, but the main reason why we started it is that we wanted people to be able to taste each roast and stuff. And so samples are definitely free, and we encourage them, and we want people to purchase the roast that they like. And then so if they say they like a medium roast, well, we have two, so give them a sample of each, and you pick. Because the number one question too is, what's your favorite?
Yeah, what's your favorite?
And I'm like, who are you asking? My favorite is whiskey.
So are you selling cup by cup? You're not a barista or anything like that, but you're not selling cup by cup?
Just drip. Yeah.
Yes.
12-ounce drip. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
and we also make our own cold brew. So we sell cold brew.
We sell a lot of cold brew when it's 100 degrees out.
Yeah.
Well, what is your favorite? Do you do your cold brews with every flavor that you have, or do you have special ones that you use?
We only use one. I settled on it due to some research I did on what you pull out when you do a cold extraction, and the lighter roasts are they have more nuanced flavors in the lighter roasts. Like the Woodsman has more nuanced flavors than the Bushcraft, even though they're the same blend of bean. But we settled on, because the cold brew, most people want some sort of creamer in it. So we settled on Bushcraft, which is the dark roasted version of Woodsman. Mm-hmm. And we happened upon this Italian sweet cream that is available here at our local Safeway.
It's just by chance.
Just by chance. And when you take that cold brew concentrate and then top it off with that Italian sweet cream, you have a Wendy's Frosty in your hand.
Nice.
It's impossible.
It pulls the chocolate out of that bean roast, and it's just like, it's so yummy.
As much as I have tried to copy that creamer, I cannot get it. I'm close, but then again, I'm a dry facility and I'm not supposed to be doing that stuff. So,
not supposed to be making your own creamer.
Yeah. I might kill somebody.
But you're making the creamer in your house though, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's for personal use. Just for our personal use.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Like that. Ken, you are muted, Ken. So unmute yourself.
I'm talking to myself is what I'm doing here.
You are.
So I had to cough for a minute. Sorry. Since you doing more, you do more in-person stuff than online, or your sales and stuff. What's like percentage wise? Would you say when you're doing the more in-person stuff, going to, like you said, when you have a product and you don't have a lot of description on it, you get to talk to the people, you get to talk to the customer and create that relationship. Are you finding people coming back at different shows and rebuying from you again? Or is it they buy there and they go online? I'm just curious as to online versus in-person kind of sales strategies and what's the actual, we don't need numbers, of course, but just in general, what do you sell more online or in person?
We do 2 markets. And the Ellensburg market, I don't know why. Maybe it's because we've both lived here for 15 years, but we have a client base at those markets, and we have a lot of repeat customers that come to that market. The other one we do, which is really weird because it's like 15 miles away, it's just in another little town. It's got more tourist type of a vibe to it, and there's more transient kind of people going through there. Not transient in a bad way, but just vacationers.
Sure.
Weekend getaways kind of stuff.
And we get more random hits there. We probably have more online sales. We've got more online sales from up there than random online sales.
Random online sales, yeah.
From there than we do from Moses Lake. Good grief. Well, that's another place we're trying to get into, but whatever. Ellensburg. They will order online from us because we deliver for free in the county. That sounds crazy, but this county's so damn small that I can sneeze and, hit one end of it.
Right.
We're right in the middle. So, we deliver for free in the county. We get a lot of people from Ellensburg that when we're not in the market season, we'll order online and we deliver. When we're in market season, our online orders locally just drop off. Everybody wants to come out and talk to us. They want a reason to come down to the market. So it's good. We encourage that.
Are those people then the local people when the market goes away during the cold months? Do those local people then order online?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. So they
make us drive in the snow.
Yeah.
I would probably a goal for us is try to up that number a little bit in the off season, the online sales.
Yeah.
So we might get 40-50%. Ordering online in the off season. I'd like to see that go up. But yeah.
Yeah, we
currently do more in-person sales than online sales.
Well, 95% are in person.
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is what in a small business world, this is one of the things that I've been telling people, because I've experimented with this too in my art business. Is last summer I went back to, I do a lot of automotive art and car stuff. I went back to just doing more in-person stuff than online things. And it was the trajectory. It just went through the roof. And I tell people, if you're starting something, you can start local, have an online presence. You have to have an online presence. But if you build your local base, like what you guys are doing, like you said, you get people coming back every week. I'm going to buy this one. I'm going to buy this one. And then when they can't go back every week because there's no more market there, then they're going to order online because they still want to support you, because you've built they know, like, and trust you and want to make sure that they keep you in business and you're going to provide them a good product.
And then what happened, actually, it happened yesterday in Ellensburg. So a repeat customer came in towards the end of the market, and their particular product that they buy, they get the Reeser Creek
K-cups.
Single-use
cup. Yeah, single-use pod.
The JL cups.
The JL things.
Yeah. So they but we were sold out, and you should have seen the look on their face.
Oh, he was bummed.
The look on their face, it was like, my coffee for the week, I don't have it, and I'm like, going, really, seriously, we're right down the road. I already have some cut up and ready to box up. If you just order online, I will deliver it to you for free. And then so it's just, I can't
Customer
bring,
service.
yeah, and I can't bring enough product to. Well, because it varies. You never know what's going to sell out and whatnot. So
we do not have a consistent seller from week to week. It could be Woodsman one week. It could be Smoke Jumper the next. It could be the Reeser Creek. It boggles my mind. I can't. We just plan on going, okay, we're taking X amount of everything, and we sell out. We sell out whatever it is. We try to push them in another direction.
I wonder if that's because your customers, you're like, oh, this one sounded good. Let's try this one next week. Let's try this one next week. Are you seeing that kind of thing? I know that I get like that when I find like a bread company that's cool breads. Like I'll buy. All right, I'm gonna do sourdough. I'm gonna do pumpernickel next week. You try a little bit of everything. That's a good sign for you guys, I would imagine.
It happens quite often. It really does.
Yeah.
And so they'll try the Woodsman and go, I really like trying something darker this week, and so then it's bushcraft So we have seen that. So
that's
they
gold.
They want to try them all. So.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with everything. When I'm talking about your coffees, when I first started ordering your coffee, I pretty much, I think I went through and I ordered like, I don't know, 4 or 6, and I got 8 or 12, something like that. You guys were very generous with it. Let's let them try everything. I'm just going like, God, I love every single one of them, but it's just like I love coffee, so it's like beers. There's not a whole lot of beers I don't like, not a whole lot of whiskey I don't like, except I don't like Irish whiskey. But no, I'm sorry, I don't. My name's McGee. I don't like Irish.
The good whiskey. He doesn't like the good whiskey, so he really doesn't even like whiskey.
Yeah, he's from California, so that explains why.
I
know.
I
See,
said the nasty word. I said the stuff that shouldn't be said, but this is my show, so I can do it anyway.
You should try Smoke Jumper with a little bit of Jameson in it, and right there, maybe a little red breast. I don't know, maybe.
But no, I really like all the coffees, and you were very generous with what you sent to me, and let me tell you, I tried to.
You ordered most of them, Bruce.
Yeah.
So you might as well just throw in a couple more, and you can try all of them.
That's what I did. And it was very hard. It was very hard actually getting the 2 that I wanted. So my suggestion is having.
Here we go. Here's the coffee guy. I'm going to tell you how to do it now. Go ahead, Bruce. I want to interrupt.
Of a different one every month. That would be great. Like a coffee of the month club,
Well, funny you should mention that. Subscribers are about to become my lab rats, my guinea pigs, my Reese's coffee drinkers. We're working on a thing because I play around, I do different roasts, I throw different beans together, and we've got one right now that I think is almost. I really like it.
Yeah.
I'm drinking the hell out of it. And it's a light roast, so it's even lighter than any of the other ones you've gotten. But we're thinking about just kicking those out every once in a while to subscribers and saying, hey, here's a little sheet. Give us some feedback. Tell us what you think about this coffee.
See,
I volunteer myself for tribute.
you Jason, you're the
first one.
You're the original scofflaw.
You're the OG.
You are the one where we were just like, "What's the zip code?" And I go, I think it's up by Seattle. Just send it because we could ship in state due to COVID at the time. But I don't understand zip codes. So
I remember my first shipment. It was just like, 95020. Yeah, that's Washington.
I don't even care who knows about it. Yeah, we had a couple. We're
allowed to ship to family and friends.
Yeah, and we were allowed to ship within the Washington state during the COVID emergency, which I think we had almost. Did we have it longer than California?
I'm not
sure. We were 935 days or something.
Well, I think
like Washington won.
Gruesome Newsom just didn't like us, so he only. I think last July is when he lifted the emergency.
Oh, last
July
wasn't much better. We
Yeah.
we were 3+ years,
Yeah.
and
It was last summer because that's why we were kind of not panicked, but pushing for the commercial space.
yeah, because we
last summer.
couldn't ship anymore. Basically, through the cottage law, our sales, not in the pandemic emergency, we can only sell face to face. We can't wholesale to any businesses. We couldn't. I mean, it was just. I could roast coffee and I could sell it to you, but and we were also limited on how much we could do, which we
annual
sales, which we may or may not have went over last year. I don't know. Depending on how I claim it.
Yeah.
I don't think you did. I think you were just under. I'm pretty sure that you came in just under what you were supposed to.
I think
that was a close one, guys.
Yeah, that was. I was like, what do you mean we can only sell what? Well, let's just stop the sales in October then.
Well, that's what pretty much happened
Yeah.
under cottage law.
Yeah.
We approved for commercial or for wholesale.
Yeah.
So, well, we'd like to go over. We're coming up on a hard stop here, but we'd like to know whether you'd like to do a little bit of extra content with us, which is going to be after the show. We'll send you another link and everything. But we actually want to. I want to know, kind of, what is your favorite coffee recipe? If you were to leave us today with a coffee recipe that you have, what you like to have in your coffee, or some kind of iced coffee, whatever the recipe is, what is your favorite one?
Italian sweet cream right here. Italian sweet cream.
Actually anything. The hot coffee
or the cold brew.
Or the cold brew with Italian sweet cream. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Italian sweet cream.
Mine is just pouring hot water through some
really good ground coffee.
Ground ridge Ethiopian Yirgacheffe. And that's what I like.
Well,
and then you want to throw some Irish whiskey in it.
Well, I'd love to throw some Irish whiskey in it, but I'm just, when it comes down to whiskey, I just can't get past the peat smell or the peat. That's basically what it is. I don't know what it is about
there is
the
no peat in Irish whiskey.
I'm just saying,
Irish whiskey's cleaned up Scotch. Highland Scotch at that.
Yeah. It's better.
I'll tell you what. I will try it. That's what I will do.
Red breast.
Go ahead. Yeah, we want to thank you for being here. We hope that you can stay with us on the other side. We'll stay on the line after we end the show, and we'll tell you how to get there from here. But go ahead and promote yourselves. All the places that we can find you, all the places that we can get to you, all the local people that are listening to you right now. They need to know where you're at, how to get a hold of you, how to get shipped some coffee, how to get those. JC cups, whatever you call them.
JL
cups.
JL cups.
Go ahead and tell us what you're all about and how to get a hold of you.
Okay. Colockumcraft.coffee.
Colockumcraft.coffee. Very good.
Just go
We're
there.
also on Twitter. I think we're at Colockumcraft.
Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, you can find us anywhere.
Or colockumcraft@gmail.com.
Yeah. Just look for the occasional inappropriate political post from at Colockumcraft because I'm not on the wrong account. It happens.
I've never done that before.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you're commenting as Colockumcraft again. Oh, whoops.
Whoops.
Well, again, Bill and Dana, we want to thank you for being here. Thank you for being a guest on our show, man. We really appreciate it, and you've educated us as far as how you become a coffee roaster and how you become an entrepreneur. We love your success. We wish you a whole lot more success. I'm going to keep ordering coffee from you, and I can't wait to get some of those new samples. I can't wait to be a rhesus monkey. So that's where I'm at with that.
I offer myself a tribute to be a monkey.
Oh, you were already on the list, man.
You'd be a gorilla.
Thanks for having
You'd be a gorilla.
we'll stick around and we'll catch you on the other side. And everybody else who tuned in, we want to thank you for being here tonight, and do all those things that you're supposed to do, like hit the like button, hit the share button, leave us a comment on YouTube, Rumble, wherever you're listening to this, and send us a message. We love your messages. We love your comments. We like your questions. So go ahead and do all of that stuff. And oh, cool. There we go. We finally got Aaron on here.
Aaron shows up at the very end.
Aaron and Harkos came in at the last minute, but that's just we're gonna catch Harkos on the other side. But anyway, we want to thank you for being here, and I leave you like I leave you guys on X every morning, is that to have a great weekend, have a great week, and be good to yourselves, and we will talk to you later. Goodbye.